How we doing, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the PrimeTime Patriots podcast. As always, your host, Jake Mott, alongside me, Ryan Matson. Super excited to break down what was as memorable a football game as you could ask for many different reasons. I don't think it was as perfect as people are saying for the Patriots, but nonetheless, extremely memorable. What did you take away from that game with the Bills?
Honestly, just like the grit that the team had, they couldn't do anything like the whole first half. Obviously that big run, but they passed the ball 3 times total. So, it was very limited as to what they could do with the weather. So, coming out on top, I just thought it was a great win.
Absolutely, I agree, especially in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Take care of that crowd. I did want to ask this before we get into more analytical stuff. In your opinion, does this make Mac look bad and or suggest there's not full trust there, anything like that? What do you think?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I disagree. I think you lead. It'd be different if they're down a score or two at points in this game and
you just
pass
keep
it 3
running
times.
it.
Yes, exactly. But they were in control the whole time.
Yeah.
And he said, and Bill said, I'm not gonna give them any opportunities.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it's a knock on Mac. That's been the talk, obviously. I did feel like this is towards the end of my notes, but I'll touch on it here. I felt like even from halftime on, when they had only passed a couple times, I felt they were so all in on the win this game. Because if they lost and they only threw 3 times, the criticism would have been
crazy
through the roof.
Yeah.
It would have so they were definitely all in on winning. Defense stepped up, made some big plays. So I think we can start with them. They had a hell of a day. So
yeah, absolutely.
Weather obviously makes analyzing both units this week pretty damn tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to really take too much away. First things first that I had from our defensive side at least was Josh Allen is filthy.
He's a great player.
Yeah, we were saying when we were watching, it's like the only thing I can compare it to. It's kind of like Big Ben with wheels. I don't know what else to. You can't.
He's
bring him
got a
down.
strong arm. Yeah, he's a big guy. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Prime Big Ben.
Yes. Oh yeah. No. Not washed Big Ben right now. But if I'm starting a team right now, ages, everything considered, right after Mahomes, I'm going with him.
Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The size and everything. I'm a big Kyler guy.
Yeah.
But Kyler's too small. It's not worth the chance of him getting hurt. Josh Allen can do all these things, and he's huge. He's
he
6'5".
can take a hit too, for sure.
100%. Anybody stand out specifically for you on the defensive side?
I mean, not real. I think Godshaw had a great game, but I mean, other than that, Judon got the sack too, so that was nice. But I think they all played pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a really great performance. I said 8 out of 10, and the -2 is really only because of the weather, because you're playing a team that's limited.
Yeah.
So it's out of their control. I think they did everything just about as well as they could have. They let up the touchdown, but it was a play after the Harry, which, oh man. I mean, that one for me is totally on the coaches. I don't know what he's doing back there.
Yeah, I don't... yeah.
Yeah, you can blame N'Keal Harry, but I mean, I've never seen him field a punt in the NFL, period.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what they're doing.
I barely see him on the field anyway, so...
Yeah, exactly. And he did, to be fair...
He had some great blocks, too.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
He had a good game blocking.
Where Harris scored on that 60, 70-yard touchdown or whatever.
Yeah. It's crazy to see, we're watching it. It's plays that, we were running in high school. It's really... They took it to the Bills with really only probably 10, 15 plays that they just ran different variations of.
Yeah.
And they just kicked the crap out of them. It was crazy to watch. So, obviously, getting back to our defense, the Bills, obviously they're a pass-first team. They didn't emphasize the run that much.
Yeah.
But you still held them to 99 yards, 39 of which were Allen, who led the team. So
I think it's crazy they passed 30 times.
I do too. Yeah, it's very... And I think it's crazy...
You could see, just watching, the ball moved so much.
So much. And, I don't know if you saw the kickers in pregame and stuff where they're just kicking It's
you see the beginning kick? Kick?
Yeah, it went
it went like 7 yards or seven stands up, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Tyler Bass is no boomstick kicking it. So And Jake Bailey, who I love, looked like shit. And then when he got the wind, he puts it 70 yards the other way. It's like, it was that kind of game. The wind was as big a factor. Wind's so tough because you can't see it, obviously.
Yeah.
When you're watching on TV, but like you see the effects of it, like you said, balls going crazy. But to really understand like 50, 60 mile an hour gusts, I mean, it was tough for him.
I will say too, that Jonnu catch.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was nice. That was probably his best catch of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, it might be his best play. Has he gotten in the end zone once or twice?
Let's take a peek. I don't think so. He might have once.
I think he might have gotten in one. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, still that could be the highlight of his whole year. In my opinion.
It was a great catch.
But yeah, it was a great catch. So we'll hop over to our offense. I don't think the narrative is too far off of this, but I actually think it was pretty bad, personally. I mean, again, it's mostly bad because of the weather, because you were limited. But people act like, oh, the Patriots went in the cold weather, and they ran the ball down the Bills' throats and just suffocated them, and it's like, it's not totally what happened. I mean, they had 222, which looks great. But if you get rid of that one Harris 65-yarder, they run for 157, and they're averaging under 3.5 a carry. The Bills average 4.
Yeah.
So, like, you weren't shoving it down their throats. This was a defensive stand, first and foremost. Sure. Like, you had 6 punts in this game, so you really you weren't converting at the rate that people were talking about. Even time of possession, you didn't really kick ass. You had a little advantage, but I didn't think it was that dominant of a game offensively. I think this one's all about the defense. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, and then the only thing that I think the offense actually did that you could say they did great or well was that they didn't turn it over.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. We knew going in, if they were able to do that, that could be the turning point.
The Bills didn't either, did they?
They did, Matt Breida.
Oh, you're right.
Matt Breida fumbled on the 30 or so. They were
and then, we did have the offense didn't, but the...
Yeah, N'Keal Harry, yeah. So I guess you're right. They even out, but the offense did their job in terms of protecting the ball, and that was something, big emphasis for them, obviously. So, and then I'll just touch on again what I said earlier. They were really... When you pass it 3 times with a guy who's leading the Offensive Player of the Year race and consensus best quarterback in the draft so far, when you let him throw 3 times in the biggest game of the year, you are all in on winning. If they lost, the shit show would have been.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
It would have been crazy. It would have been on Bill. It would have been Josh. People would say Mac has 0 trust. It would have been ugly. So I knew about halfway through when there was only 2 passes. They better figure a way to pull this one out. So.
Yeah. You see the post game that Poyer and Micah Hyde did?
Oh yes, it was tremendous.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
So funny.
So, I don't even know what the guy asked him. He was like, something about how'd you let up so many yards rushing or something. He's like, what type of fucking question is that?
Yeah, no, he was.
It's a pretty honest it's a pretty easy question to answer. But
the problem is, it wouldn't bother them that much if it wasn't true. The problem is, it's so clearly true.
Yeah.
Of course, he said something like, "Oh, they threw 3 times today. Last time a team won and threw that little was 1972. Are you embarrassed right now?"
Yeah.
And Michael's just like,
question is that?
Like, well, come on, bro. Come on, bro. It's like, settle down. No, but honestly, I think it's bad on both sides. Porter shouldn't ever use the word embarrassed, but at the same time, can't be a bitch up there. You just got your ass beat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ugly. He gave a valid stat. It's been since the damn 70s, so I mean. Did you see the interview with Judon after the game?
I think so.
Yeah, he was like, hell of a game, great job the offense going out there and grinding every one of those players, except for Mac.
Yeah,
he didn't really do much except hand the ball off. Dude.
Yeah, I see that.
No, but it's funny. Everybody's got it. I think a big thing too here is you're seeing, and obviously they won, so we don't know what it would be like if they lost. But Mac is, I think, handling this as well as you could ask him to handle it.
Yeah.
Like he seems to at least not care at all about throwing 3 times. He doesn't care where he is in voting or anything like that. He cares that they won. It was a memorable game. Commanded the offense. How about that 4th and 5 QB sneak? Or 3rd and 5. Dude. I've never seen that in my entire life.
Yeah, that was crazy.
3rd and 5, they just truck along. But, hey, huge win. don't even want to spend too much time on it because we're going to have to rehash it all in a week.
Yeah.
So, should be fun.
Hopefully the weather's not shitty again. It's going to be a high-scoring game if not, so.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'd be awesome if you could run it 3 times and beat them. That'd be
yeah. Imagine.
Yeah, oh, man.
Throw fucking 60 times.
Oh, God. It'd be a shit show. I mean, to be fair, they let Mac throw 50 times against New Orleans.
True.
So, like, to say there's no trust, it really just was... It's the weather and the fact that you led the entire game.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not too worried about it in that sense. But, all right. I think that wraps up this very good week. Going to hop ahead to next week after the bye. So, we skipped last week. Next week against the Indianapolis Colts, another big game. All right. So, this week, Patriots traveling to Indianapolis to face the 7-6 Colts. Colts are second in the AFC South right now, behind Tennessee, who the Patriots just beat a couple weeks ago. This is a big one, man. Really, really big. Obviously, the big name coming in for the Colts is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Leads the NFL in yards per carry, and it ain't even that close. He's got 1,348. Next closest guy has 1,036. So it's a clear 300-plus yard difference.
Yep.
They feed this guy the rock. They're the closest thing you'll see to a Derrick Henry, to a traditional bell cow kind of back. So, what? Any fears, concerns about him? How do you think?
I mean,
they're gonna do?
he's a fast kid. He can pretty much do whatever you ask him to do. He can catch, he can run. Very good at seeing the hole. He gets in the end zone a lot. So, definitely a concern for the defense. But that being said, I'm not scared of it. I just you gotta know that you're not gonna completely stop him, but doing the best to keep him out of the end zone is what you need to do.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's mostly my game plan going into. I want to force field goals, but to look at their offense a little more, third in points per game with 28.5, and then this is where I think it's really interesting. Actually, yards per game they're 11th with 368. So when you see such a big difference with the yards you're gaining,
you know the defenses
and the points. Yeah, you know the defense won, and you know they're not turning it over.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing I think about this Tennessee team is they lead the entire NFL in turnover differential.
Interesting.
So they're plus 13. They do not. I really like Carson Wentz. He's thrown 22 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Yeah, he's having the second best season of his career.
Yeah, since that MVP,
sure.
He would have won the MVP that year if he didn't blow his leg.
Yeah, there's still a concern with me for Wentz, only because we've seen it so many times. Big moments in games, he always finds a way to just get a turnover, take a sack, something happens
totally
where just not what you need. So, as good of a year he's having, I still don't feel comfortable with him being like a top guy. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. I think he fits in the same kind of vein as like a Tannehill for me.
Yeah.
I think he's slightly better just because he has
skill-wise. I think.
Yes, he has better physical traits. You could argue that Tannehill's a better manager, which is we really only see this from Wentz when he's with Frank Reich, which he's the head coach of Indy now, but he was with him in Philly during that year. So I guess Wentz can take coaching or whatever that means, but I think he's slightly better, but he's not just like Tannehill, or you could even say Mac this year. They're not going to win you games, but they're not going to lose games for you. Especially like some of his years in Philly, you would see times where he's forcing it downfield and he's losing the football team games.
Yeah.
This year, I really don't think with Reich there, I think they might lose the game. They might come up short, but they're not going to like turn it over. Yeah. And it's not going to be Carson Wentz that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Either way, win or lose. So I'm not too afraid of him. Receivers, they got T.Y. and Michael Pittman. Pittman actually outperforming T.Y. by a bit this year.
Oh yeah, Pittman's he's a pretty good receiver. He's really coming on as a, he could be a star in this league for sure. He's been playing really well. Yeah, I definitely want to see Jackson on him if they're going man.
I agree, 100%. I wanted to get your opinion on this because I think, personally, for me, this is a big, like, blitz and box stacking kind of game.
Yeah.
Because I think I like T.Y. and Michael Pittman, but I think this is one of those few teams where I feel comfortable in man coverage.
Yeah, I do too.
So, like, I'm comfortable sending a lot of dudes. Not zero blitzes all the time or anything like that, but a lot of pressure to where, obviously we just said Carson Wentz very conservative with the ball this year, only 5 picks.
Yeah.
But if you can hopefully force some field goals, get a lead, make them throw a little bit, and then you get pressure in his face. And then obviously you're going to have to stack the box all day with Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
So I think my big player to look out for this week is Jamie Collins.
Yeah.
Because I think he's their best
rusher.
Yeah, I think he's their best combo guy.
Okay.
In terms of playing the pass and the rush.
Yeah.
So I think it could be a big game for him. A couple other linebackers, like depth backers, got COVID, so they're out. So it should be a big game for those main 4 guys.
I mean, COVID's really fucking up the league right now.
Oh, big time.
I think I saw something that's like over 100 cases right now.
Yeah, I know. Last time I checked, it was high 80s. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's up over 100 now.
But I haven't, like you said, I mean, I haven't even heard a lot about the Pats. Like, they're pretty good right now with that.
Well, it's nice. I mean, you're one of the few places that has no nightlife, any sort of, and you already have this kind of mentality built in.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure.
I wonder why it's like, I'm thinking like the weather has something to do with it, like cold weather, but obviously the nightlife, seeing shit ton of people in one spot, but
yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the culture here is just, not that you couldn't do it anywhere else, but when you're also an hour out of Boston in the middle of nowhere, like rolling up to Gillette Stadium,
it's in the middle of nowhere.
Oh man! Every time I roll up to Gillette, I'm like, what did the Dallas Cowboys think?
Yeah.
When they're rolling up here, dude, they're just in the woods.
Literally. Yeah.
And then they just see this massive stadium that has more Super Bowls than they do. Tough. But hey, yeah, I think the best game plan this week for our defense is kind of a bend don't break mentality. Usually, my big thing is force a turnover or 2 because you're so good at it on defense.
Yeah, definitely.
But I just don't know.
I don't think you're getting a fumble out of Taylor.
No,
and you might be able to get a pick off Wentz, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like we've been talking about, he's been pretty conservative with the ball.
Yeah.
I still think at a big time he might have something, he might give away 100%. Something, but whether it's a sack or a pick or a fumble or something, but...
Yeah, that's actually interesting too. I will hop back to the bend don't break in a sec, but they do lead the league in turnover differential, which we said, but they run it so much that they actually lead the league in fumbles too.
Really?
And it's 14, the next closest is like 11.
Huh.
So it's really, I don't know if that's fumbles lost or fumbles in general, but either way, they're putting it on the ground.
True.
And it's not Taylor. Taylor's only put it on the ground, I think, once or twice.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't remember seeing him fumble a lot.
Yeah, so that means it's Wentz, it's the backup backs, it's the receivers.
Yeah,
so, I think that should be a huge emphasis. If you're going to get a turnover in this game, it's going to be a fumble. You're going to have to punch it out. So
Definitely.
That's a big focus. And I think the biggest thing, you just want to force field goals in this game. They're going to drive down. They're going to take time off the clock. It's what they do. They're going to So if you can get them down inside the 30 and then stand pat and force field goals, your offense has to go down and conversely score some touchdowns. Yeah. But I think that's the game plan here. You're really not going to be able to... They're not going to beat themselves more than any team you've played this year, I think.
Yeah, I think, something good coming off of that win at Buffalo. A, you didn't show a lot passing. Nothing new. Mm-hmm. No one knows what you're doing. Nothing. And B, now you really have to respect their run because people know they can run the ball. Mm-hmm. So, in this game especially, and even the next game against the Bills, they have no idea what we're going to run. But these guys have to respect our run. So we can start off, running the ball or whatever. They're going to respect it. And then we can get a play action and go deep. So
if you were running the offense, would you start very run heavy, pass heavy, try to mix it? What would you do?
I'd probably start kind of like a mix. I want to get Mac comfortable because it's been a while now. He had a bye week and he threw 3 passes. So I'd get some confidence in him early, but I wouldn't go pass heavy. I wouldn't go run heavy. I'd kind of split it in the middle to start.
I would agree. Yeah, I think you definitely want to establish that, like you said, they have to respect the run at this point. So I think it's important on the flip side of that to establish some sort of pass. and get things going. I mean like rhythm stuff, like some short screens, some slants, some things, completions, and I mean that's what Mac does anyway. But no, I think definitely you gotta prove that you're 2-dimensional here, in the sense, but they still have to, like you said, respect the hell out of that run. So should make game planning a little bit easier. You got to hop over to the Colts defense.
Yeah.
Take a look at them. So points per game, they're 9th. Yards per game, they're 13th. Against the run, they're 16th. And pass, they're 12th. So a little bit weaker against the run, but all around, decent defense. Around the middle of the league, but not top 10 or 5. Anything like that.
I mean, okay.
10-15 range.
I can see that.
So they're very good too. This is such a well-rounded team. I think this is the most comparative team to yourself. The defense isn't as dominant, but I still think it's closer than the next closest would be Tennessee. I think they're a little closer to the way you play scheme-wise, because they force a shitload of turnovers as well.
True.
So they like we said, keep touching on it, but I think it's the biggest stat is that turnover differential. So people to look out for, Darius Leonard.
Yeah, definitely.
In my opinion, top 3 linebacker in the league.
If not, he could be very well number 1.
Yeah. Oh, he's an absolute beast. Second in the NFL this year with forced fumbles.
Yeah.
The only person above him is Josh Norman, I believe.
Really?
Which is very interesting. Yeah. So that's just his thing, I guess.
I used to love Josh Norman.
Yeah.
Man. Oh my god.
Oh, he was a beast for that
that
year,
1 year. He had a couple, and then when he went to Washington, he kind of fell off, but he still had a decent year.
That was the Super Bowl year, right?
Yeah,
he was
15-1.
Filthy. They were good. If only Cam dove on the ball. DeForest Buckner is obviously pretty good on the D line. He leads them 5.5 sacks.
Kenny Moore is another guy.
Yes,
he's a very good corner.
Corner,
for sure.
right? Yeah.
And even Rocky Sin, he's a pretty good corner as well.
Yes, yeah, they are both pretty good. You're right. We got to keep an eye for them. I don't know what the game plan offensively. Yeah, for me, offense is just scoring touchdowns when you get into the red zone, and obviously that's been an emphasis all year. It's something that I think we'd both agree is definitely improved. At the beginning, it was a huge concern, but they fixed that up a good amount in recent weeks. Gonna have to do it this week. I think if they force field goals and then get those touchdowns when the opportunities come, I think you'll be in good shape. If you force Wentz to throw it 25 times, I think that should be it.
Yeah.
You should be able to have enough to win the game. So, and obviously time of possession is super important, but I think it's even more important in this game just because of how much both of these teams value it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, both are such run heavy. They love to dominate time of possession. So, I think it's going to be real close. Third downs are going to be huge for both teams, as they are every week. But I think, especially, like I said, with the time of possession, you want to keep drives going.
Yeah.
You want to establish some tempo. So.
And this is a big game in the AFC, too. Both teams got wins over the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So, this could potentially be... I mean, I don't think the Colts jump up to a 1 seed at any point this year, but they could.
Yeah, if the Colts win, I mean, either way, the whole bracket's getting shooken up. But
dude, this year is crazy.
It's so fun to watch, honestly. Like,
it's so close. There's so many teams in the run. 95%
of the time when we get this far into the year,
you know the number 1, you know the number 2.
There's 4, maybe 5 teams that could potentially compete for a Super Bowl, and this year it feels like it's 12.
Yeah,
it's
know.
ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I could name a shitload of teams just in the AFC. Like, Chargers could win it. Nobody's talking about them. Yeah. Cleveland couldn't win it. Tennessee could win it.
Especially if they get Henry back, they definitely could win.
Yeah, if Indy starts rolling, they could win it. Everybody knows Kansas City could win it.
Obviously, New England. Obviously, I think the Bills could.
Yep.
I mean,
I
was going to say Miami. I don't see them winning. But they're on a roll. I'll give them that.
Yes, exactly. So, and then you go to the NFC. I think in terms of, the premier teams of the league, I think the NFC has
the Bucs,
4 of them.
The Rams, the
Bucs,
Cardinals,
Rams,
the Packers. I mean,
those are my big 4, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think And honestly, there's been a little bit of slack. I think people are saying the NFC is like just way better. I think the
I don't
NFC
think
is
so.
just top heavy.
Yeah, I honestly think I don't see that at all.
Yeah, like look at the NFC least. Like
Exactly.
they're all just feasting on
Yeah, I mean,
on those teams. So
if you look at the records, they're pretty similar. AFC, NFC.
Yeah.
Obviously, the NFC slightly better with the top seeded teams, but I mean, I don't like. It's kind of like how the NBA looks at East and West, and the West is always better. But like, I mean, now the East is getting better. Like that's kind of how the NFL is. But
yeah, no, I definitely agree. You got a prediction for this one?
Yeah, I'll go 31-24, Pats.
It's a good one. I got 27-23.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got.
Yeah, that'll be a good game for sure.
In a perfect case scenario, those 23 come from like 5 or 6 field goals. That's my plan, is that you just keep forcing them into that, and then Mac makes a big drive or two, punches it in. So, all right. I think that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully breaking down an 8th or 9th win in a row. 8th win in a row?
I think this would be 8.
Yeah. So that would be fantastic. We'd be running away with the number 1 seed. Well, not running away. Kansas City just won last night.
Crazy.
So, yeah, crazy game. I mean, I got Travis Kelce in fantasy.
Yeah, I'm going to lose.
You're facing him.
Yeah, dude, I played Kelce and Herbert.
Damn, that's tough.
And I got Eckler. I mean, he put up 18, but...
Yep, I have Eckler in that same league, actually.
I'm projected to lose by 10 now, so...
Tough one, yeah. Number 1 seed right here. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Who are you playing?
Cooch.
Get him, Cooch. All right. See you guys later. Thanks so much. Go Pats.
Go Pats.